Segment 2, Gold and Black Live, joined by a regular on this show. That's Tom Dienhart, but another regular that we have at least a couple times a year. It seems Kelly Kitchel needs no introduction to the Purdue audience. Obviously, the sideline analyst or sideline reporter for Purdue's radio network, longtime football coach, the offensive line coach at West Lafayette High School, and a former Purdue Boilermaker Rose Bowl team member. Kitch, I'm going to start with you. That we're breaking down tomorrow's game at Northwestern. Memory serves you are a Cub fan, but it's going to be kind of a big deal to be on the sideline of Wrigley Field, walking up and down the field. That'll be an interesting experience from that alone, in what will be a great venue, an interesting venue, I should say, for Purdue's game tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm fired up. I grew up a Cubs fan. My dad and I went to one game growing up, but I mean, growing up farming and on the tractors and different things. I mean, that was, we listened to Harry Carey in the falls when we were harvesting, late in the springs and things. And anytime there was a Cubs game on, either dad was watching it in the house, or we had it on the radio when we were working outside. So I grew up with the soothing sounds of Harry Carey, man. And it was, I'm certainly fired up to be to go up there to Wrigley and be on the sideline. I have no idea if I'll be on the opposite side. I'm assuming I'll be on the opposite side.
I would think so. Yeah.
Space dugout side. So I would think that's where they'll put all the photogs and all of us to get us away from the teams that are just going to be completely taken on the other sideline, which I can't imagine. I mean, coaching for as long as I have, and being around the game, to only have between the 5 and the 45, and when your team's on the opposite end, is just, I mean, a logistical nightmare for teams. So it's going to be really interesting to see how each team handles that, and or at least how Purdue. I mean, Northwestern's had it before, I guess, but at least how Purdue is going to handle that. So I'm like I said, I'm certainly fired up. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. I love that park. I love just the nostalgia. I'm hoping to be up in the press box and the suites and things, and just kind of take it all in. I'll probably be taking a lot of pictures and things, just enjoying every minute of it.
Yeah, Tom, you worked there for a period of time, and obviously returned for you back in your days. It is a great venue, and you do look at that what I would call the foul or the first baseline. It'll be interesting to see, because it comes up pretty close against what used to be the area where they had the bullpens. So, but that's the only place they can put you, I would think. But Tom, you obviously Northwestern and Illinois played there in 2010. It's interesting that they didn't make the rule changes till the Friday before that game. I don't anticipate that. Nobody's expecting that, because the Cubs have renovated and made it so that it's feasible to have a full-length field and adequate room in the end zone. But still, going to be a fascinating game, and certainly a throwback day for you, Tom, just because of your experience up there as well.
First, you didn't say Kelly Kitchel was a Lewis Cass king, Alan.
Yeah.
That's where it all began.
That goes without saying.
Yeah. Kelly, first I got to know, what do you guys farm?
What do we farm?
Yeah.
Corn and soybeans. I mean, we're corn and soybeans, sometimes some winter wheat, but I had 4-H calves and hogs and things. Now I think my dad's got more chickens than anything else. He's always trying to pawn off eggs every time I go over there, and I think he's got about 15 hens laying eggs over there. So he got more eggs he knows what to do with. But yeah, they still farm. My dad's 84 years old. My brother is still there. My nephew farms with him a little bit, but we do our best to keep him from climbing in and out of the tractors and the combines, just keep him on the ground, because he's 6'6", and that's a long way to fall with when you're 84. So yeah, he's doing well, and they're still farming and doing what we can. Just a small Indiana, farm family.
And then you kids up there baling some hay for them. But yeah, Saturday's going to be a lot of fun. Unlike Kelly Kitchel, unlike Alan Karpik, the Dienhart family was a White Sox family.
Yeah, I knew that.
We'd go up once a year, but I've been, I'm like you, Alan, Chicago, been up there a lot over the years. Yeah, it's going to be great. Wrigley Field, the Wrigleyville area. just the ballpark itself, for Purdue fans to get to experience that. I mean, what a dream come true. What a one-off, once in a lifetime experience for people, and to get to enjoy it. And on top of all that, guys, the coaches don't want us to say this, but Purdue should win with ease, right?
Yeah.
At least it appears that way when you look at the matchups, you look at the struggles of Northwestern. I know Purdue got whipped last week, but I think we all agree they're playing well. And again, what I'm trying to say is it could be a fun afternoon in an iconic historic venue for Purdue fans on Saturday. And the weather, guys, could be a little chilly, but it looks like it's going to be sunny and a clear day without any precipitation. So that's even better news too for everybody.
Yeah, it sounds like mid-40s in Chicago at this time of year is not all that bad. We don't. It's funny because going up there, we don't know exactly whether we're going to be inside, outside, what our media roles will be. We know Kitch will be outside because he's going to be on the sidelines. But it all will pass, and they'll play the game, and it will be an unbelievable experience, I would think, as you look at it. Kitch, one of the things that and Tom talks about, Purdue's a 12-point favorite. There's danger in that always. Northwestern, extremely well-coached team. Pat Fitzgerald's teams always seem to have fight in them, but the Wildcats have really struggled. But just from an offensive line perspective, Kitch, I think it was pretty impressive that Purdue has not had any sacks, in the last two games, or at least at all against Ohio State. And the fact that Aiden O'Connell's chucking it around the yard against Ohio State, one of the best teams in the country in terms of creating sacks. What are you seeing from that improvement on that offensive line?
It was apparent on the sideline. So I'd linger back and forth, going, kind of meander back behind the guys, and as I watch that offensive line, as I've watched them all year, they all they just have their little area there, and their coach talks to them. But early in the season, there was some bickering back and forth. They were trying to figure things out. They weren't really. It didn't seem like they had gelled. Now they're locked in. I mean, they are. Once the coach leaves, they're talking. They're still talking about game plan stuff. Hey, when the guy slides down to 3 technique, that when the end comes down in tight, he's probably going to dig. They may do a loop. They may do something. It's funny just hearing them kind of. They're really locked in, and not giving up any sacks at Ohio State was on the offensive line, but it was also on Jeff Brom's play calling and on Aiden O'Connell getting the ball out of his hand. And I think between all those factors, it was the quick passing game. It was, just a lot of things. They slid the right way. It was an impressive. I'll tell you. I don't think we'll see. I know we won't see a better team the rest of the year than we saw at Ohio State. But I'd say I don't think there's a better team in the country on offense than Ohio State. And there's probably not. I mean, defensively, they're as good. I mean, we were able to move the ball, but defense, that's a good defense as well. I think Wisconsin might be a little bit better than them, but there's not many teams in the country that are better than them defensively, athletically as well. And for Purdue to be able to run the ball as effectively as they did, and throw the ball, was very, very impressive. It just seems like we're really clicking. Like I said, both pass blocking and run blocking, and just Aiden's just locked in. The receivers, Milton Wright's making huge catches all of a sudden, big time third down catches. He's a guy that we don't talk about a lot, but he's made some really good plays here recently. He may only get 3 or 4 catches a game, but they're big ones. And so I just love the way this team's clicking right now. And you're right, it is a little bit of a scary thing because Northwestern's has kind of had our number, I guess, the last few years. But man, if we play the way we've been playing, it should not be a game. It should be a big time party on the rooftops up there in Wrigley.
Northwestern, Tom, quarterback is an issue. They have been struggling mightily on the offensive end all season. Defensively, they, historically, they've always been so stout, or almost always. Now they're struggling to stop the run. What is it? Is it as simple as, do you see Purdue trying to run it more tomorrow? Maybe, even though O'Connell is as hot as he's been. I don't know how far you want to vary from what he's been doing, but how do you see that from that standpoint in terms of what that run pass mix might look like at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, Kitch, I think Murphy's bleachers and sluggers are going to be packed.
That's right.
Oh God, yeah.
On Clark and Addison, Waveland and Sheffield. Yeah, Alan, I would prepare maybe to sit outside. I got a feeling it's going to be an outdoor and open air press box.
Oh, I'm bringing all my woolies, certainly. I don't know where it's going to be.
Hey, real quick too, I asked Jeff Brom, I never heard anybody say it officially. I asked him Thursday, are they going to go both ways? Because remember that 2010 game, one way for safety reasons. He says they're going both ways.
Right.
So there you go. It's going to be maybe that was news to everybody but me, but I never heard anybody officially say that. But yeah, Alan, you're right, boy. You summed up Northwestern's offense. Abysmal. That's the best one word way to describe it. The quarterback play, like you said, it's been a roulette of nothingness, and there's some question as to who will be the quarterback Saturday. Andrew Marty, is he going to be the guy? Is going to be Ryan Helinski, the transfer from South Carolina? Probably not Hunter Johnson, the 5-star from Brownsburg, Indiana, via Clemson. Again, it may not matter. They're struggling. They're going to try to run the ball, like you said, Alan. They're physical. They got that Pat Fitzgerald, persona. They want to run at you, be tough, and they don't beat themselves, and they're usually sound on defense. But again, it's just not clicking, especially offensively this year, talking to some people up there. And you know what, if you're Purdue, like you said, Alan, maybe this is a game where you just try to jam it down their throat with running the football. Northwestern's last in the Big Ten in rushing defense. Maybe this is a big game for Xander Horvath and company. But I will say this, I hope Purdue doesn't try to turtle up, if you will, go conservative. I think you just come out and be who you are, right? And keep that aggressive mentality. Keep riding Nate O'Connell. Throw the ball 50 times. That's who you are. Don't try to win another way. And I guess I'm hoping that Purdue comes out again with that same gunslinger mentality that's really personified the rebirth of this offense the second half of the season. Pass the ball. David Bell. Kitch talked about Milton Wright. The tight ends are going to try to play guys, Jeff Brom said, but they're still a little bit banged up. We all know the weapons there. Purdue should utilize all those weapons. If you get a lead on this Northwestern team, they're doomed because they cannot pass the ball to try to catch up and get you.
I think, sorry to interrupt you, but
no, go ahead.
I don't think that Purdue will put more of an emphasis on run. I just think the runs will pop. From watching Northwestern, I think we'll have more yards because you're going to get, 8 to 10 and then maybe break one. I think that you have the opportunity against the defenses that we've been playing. I mean, our schedule's just been loaded with great defenses so far. Yeah. Against those defenses, to get 5 or 6 yards is really good. I think against Northwestern, you can get a bunch of yards. And so I don't think that he'll change what he's doing. What I do like about what Jeff Brom is, the last 2 or 3 games, he's consciously been saying, I've got to try to run the ball. Even when it's maybe not everything's not perfect. He's like, I still got to try to run the ball because you have to make them respect that enough so you can throw the ball. But yeah, I think he'll do what he does. I mean, Aiden's too good. I mean, he's playing too good right now to take the ball out of his hands too much. But I think that we will see more rushing yards on the scoreboard, on the sheets, just because we'll probably break more for longer runs.
Yeah, Purdue had a relatively productive day against Ohio State, but 4.8 yards a carry or whatever that was. By the way, Kitch's day job is keeps him busy, but he also is the co-host of Kitch and Duff Talking Football and Stuff podcast. I'm going to bet I have yet to listen. I will, but it's good stuff. He's got that heavy duty microphone. He's the pro in the deal. So that part, he's out. He's whooping our rear ends on that.
Oh yeah. I'm a pro.
He's got that Howard Stern microphone there.
Yeah, that's it. There's probably a lot of that going on with the two of you. Yeah. All right, Tom, when you look at what's the one thing, what puts Purdue in trouble tomorrow? Is it as simple as, don't turn the ball over, don't give him anything easy? Is that what would keep Jeff Brom from having a rousing victory tomorrow with his football team? What's the downside tomorrow?
Just 2 things. You mentioned one, the turnovers. Don't give the ball to Northwestern multiple times via turnover. Set up maybe short fields and big plays. Right? Don't give up big plays. Make Northwestern earn everything it's going to get, if it gets much at all. Don't give them that that pick six or the long run where a couple tackles are missed, or the 60-yard touchdown pass where there's a blown coverage. Make these guys try to march 9, 10, 11 plays if they're going to score at all. And again, like I said, turnovers. And I tell you what, guys, Aiden O'Connell in particular, I don't think he's thrown an interception in the last 3 games. And you consider the number of times he's passed the ball, that's pretty remarkable. So he's doing a good job protecting the ball, even though he's throwing it a lot. There was some snafus last week with fumbles on a kickoff return and on a bad exchange between King DeRue and Jack Plummer. But by and large, guys, again, limit turnovers and make Northwestern earn everything it can by not allowing big plays. If Purdue can do those 2 things, I think it should be a relatively easy victory.
Yeah. Last word, Kitch, and of course, folks can listen to Kitch and the Purdue Radio Network crew on the TuneIn Varsity app, also on local stations tomorrow. But what's your last word? What do you watch for? What are the key things that Purdue has to do outside of the stuff we've already hit on?
I think that's, just letting it go, not being conservative. That's what I want to continue to see this team. When I feel like once we settled in on Aiden O'Connell and Jeff Brahms felt really comfortable with him and his skill set, I feel like we've really taken off as an offense. Early in the year, it was so stagnant. Defense was carrying us early in the year, and now the offense has really taken off. And so just keep your foot on the gas and keep letting it fly. I mean, that's what I love about. It's a lot of fun watching the offense. Like I said, early in the year, I was having so much fun watching the defense because they were growing and maturing and understand, we were seeing just an evolution of them and their growth. Now we're kind of seeing that the offense and putting it all together. It's a really fun team to watch right now. And it's going to be fun up in Wrigley. Like I said, I just, maybe we'll see Aiden pump it 3 or 4 times like old Shawan Dunston at shortstop and make them think that they can get there and then fire it over the top. So I'm like I said, I'm just super excited about the whole experience, and I can't wait to get up there.
That's a Golden Black versus Shawan Dunston reference. Loved him as a player too. There's some great memories of it. Kitch is a little bit younger than the 2 of us, but there's some unreal memories in that facility for all of us. For the opportunity to be up there will be cool. Yeah, go ahead. You get the last.
This is your chance, Alan. You could have dropped that Rick Russell reference.
Oh, I love Rick.
Steve Ontiveros or Dave Kingman. Somebody with Barry Foot. You didn't do it.
Barry Foot. It's not a hand, it's a foot, we used to say. Well, I used to sit in right field bleachers. It's going to be interesting to see how many people are in the bleachers tomorrow, but I had a friend that had a booming voice and used to just rag on Bobby Mercer constantly in right field. So that's a little bit before Kitch's time, but late 70s Chicago Cubs before Dallas Green and company turned it all around in the early 80s. All right, guys, thanks so much. Always love the discussion, and we'll be back for segment 3. Brian Newbert will talk about his trip to Connecticut and watching the Purdue Boilermakers. That's what's going to be a great, interesting day. Could be a fantastic day for Purdue fans. If you beat Northwestern, you play North Carolina and beat them for the first time since 1974, I believe it'd be. If you can do that, be one of those special Purdue days tomorrow. So, guys, thanks again. We'll look forward to it. We'll be back in 2 minutes as Brian Newbert will join us for our 3rd and final segment.